I apologize for the minor delay. It's been 5 or 6 days now since my last account review. I've been really busy pumping out videos for the new current event as of right now because might as well, right? Hyped up event. Gotta farm those videos, guys. Gotta farm, farm, farm. And with me farming, you guys should subscribe to my channel as well too. That being said, though, we got an account review today, guys. This account is from Blood. I'm not sure what his name is in the video or in this thingy, but maybe he'll go ahead and show it later on. Who knows? But for now, we'll call him Blood because that's his Discord name. We got ourselves the 6th account review in this video. All right. So that being said, let's get right into it, guys. Starting with the ships as of right now. So this guy's been playing since September 2021. So it's about a year now. Happy anniversary to this guy. Right. Not bad, not bad. Let's get right into it. So, Vanguard, Ulrich, Kronstadt, and hopefully Musashi. I'm not sure about this one, but hopefully this guy got Musashi as well too. And Shinana. This guy got every single UR that's been out since he started playing the game. Very, very nice. I think there was maybe Shimakaze. I think this guy started right when Shimakaze ended, or like mid Shimakaze. Probably didn't have enough cubes for it. If this guy has Shimakaze, then that's great. Otherwise, not having her is not the end of the world, but having her is going to help out a lot, especially in World 14, which is one of the questions this guy asked for. So, as of right now, ships that this guy invested into are definitely good options. All the URs are basically 125. We got Perseus, we got Unicorn at 125 as well too. Solid options. Solid options. Everything else, though, we're getting it up. St. Louis 125, Rika 125. These are basically waifu options. I respect that. A lot. And then we have the other some collabs, some vanguards, the usual stuff, right, fellas? So right here, in terms of ships that you have working on to, Lutzo and Sidelit. I looked up a video twice yesterday on how to pronounce his name. I'm just gonna say it's Sidelets. I don't care if I butchered it. At this point, I don't want to pull up another video, but yeah, we work on those two, which is fine. I think it give like firepower and reload, I think, which are really nice stats nowadays. So not a bad option. We have Eager at 124. Get her to 125 ASAP. It's gonna help you out a lot. We have Cheese Day at 125 as well. We have 3 preloaded healers right now. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, something like that. I forgot about the ship. This ship is really good though for PvE. This is basically like a bootleg Perseus. But nowadays we have Perseus and Unicorn, so you don't have to use her as often. But back then though, she wasn't bad at all. She wasn't bad. Other options. You actually have a lot of 120 pluses for a 1-year-old player. I gotta admit, that's really good. Going down options. Drake. Developer like probably below 30 but above 20. At this point I wouldn't even use her. I would work on her prints if you want to use her, but I would definitely not use Drake if she's not at least dev 30. Even nowadays I would use her at face sim 5 though, because she's lacking a lot. Feels bad for that girl. Duke of York, I would definitely work on Duke of York if you want like another battleship setup, because even though you have Vanguard, having her around is actually not that bad. Anchorage as well. Anchorage and August Von Parsival, that from earlier, somewhere in this video, are also solid options as well. So I think your August is yeah, it's like 4 stars right now. So definitely when you get to PR4, I think you may be working on PR4 as of right now. It's gonna help out a lot. Haku is 3 stars. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Then other ships right here. Actually, I've been a big St. Louis fans recently. The people watching right now that are in my Discord, you guys could probably figure out why I'm a St. Louis fan as of right now. So don't say anything. But especially this skin, yeah. So people in my Discord, you guys know. If you know, you know. If you don't, I'm not gonna tell you. But if you know, you know. Right. So, that Enterprise skin. I think this was the past one, right? I actually like that skin a lot. Unfortunately, I never bought it, so I couldn't get it. But it's actually a really good skin. I have the Santa one and the Race Queen one. I actually like those skins a lot. Honestly, most, if not all, Enterprise skins are pretty good to me. Yeah, maybe it's my American spirit inside of me, but I really don't hate any Enterprise skin. They're all so good. For some reason, they're all really good. Probably because not swimsuits are made all the time. Anyways, though, going down the list, we have other options right here. I'll probably talk about these ship options later on in the video, but we have a lot of battleships. Definitely good options to get to 120 if you definitely need them for campaign or whatever. But you're a pretty progressive account, so we'll talk more about that later, though, and what you can work on in the video. But right now we have elites, we have some blue ships. You can probably skip all these for now. I think they're super as important. Maybe like Juno for PvP after the rework, maybe. But everything else, I can just like skip on that for now. Well, that Volga skin, that's a detective Volga skin, right? That's actually pretty cool. I like that skin. Where's it at? This skin is pretty cool. I like it. Anyways, though, let's skip the ships for now. We'll come back to it later on. St. Louis is this guy's first Valentine option. Very nice, very clean as well too. Oh, I should do my account review at the end of the year. I should do it like once a year actually, because I have like 4 Valentines. I just want to show you guys like my 4 Valentine options in a video sometime. Probably do it like in 3 months or something towards the end of the year, as like a end of the year account review or something. Right now working on. Wait, you just skipped all the inventory. Whatever, it doesn't really matter too much. I'm gonna assume like you're working on everything. You're progressing. Get more plates, the usual stuff. The same thing I tell pretty much everyone. Just get more plates. Get more plates. You also have a lot of ring options as well too, so you're no stranger to like just throwing those around. That's for sure. Gear. Hopefully you show gear. Okay, good. Thank God. I was about to say. At least you're showing gear. So torpedoes, you don't have to have as many +10s. That amount is perfectly fine. Steam catapults are sitting at about 6 right now, which is good. Stick to that amount for now. If you want more for convenience, go for it, but definitely have 6 for the time being at +10 or higher. BTDs. Now these are a meme. I have one at +10 to try something out, but aside from that, never level these up. Unless you want like filler gear, that's fine. But I would just those things are awful, man. I hate them. They're so inaccurate. Always misses. Absolutely hate them. Washing machines, all +10s and one +6. Very good. Okay, converging bombers. You have 1 +6 at Barracudas. I'm gonna assume you have better options for converging bombers. Otherwise, though, you're very lacking on not converging bombers, parallel bombers. My mistake. You're lacking a lot of parallel bombers. There might be a better options down the road, but we'll see. As of right now, I see like none at +10. So you either have better options or you need more of those. So we'll see. Reuses +2 +10s, very nice. Okay, Azur guns, light cruiser guns. Now, if you use battleships, you want to get, well, it depends on what kind of guns you want to use, but I use the Mogami Belfast guns. I get these to +10s. They're easy to get, and for the most part, a lot of people question like, what's the best secondaries for battleships? For the most part, it just comes down to how fast you want to kill suicide bombers, and there are better options out there compared to Mogami's gun. But if you're like absolute end game, suicide bombers aren't that big of a bad of a threat. And even if there is, if you're running 1 battleship, you're probably running 2 battleships, and if you're running 2 battleships, you're probably running 3 battleships. So if you're running 3 battleships, they all have Mogami gun. You probably take 0 damage from kamikaze bombs. So it basically doesn't matter at that point. You're basically using these light cruiser guns for the 45 firepower. That's why whenever I get my UR PR5 light cruiser gun, I'm just gonna slap that on. Well, I have priorities first, like Helena and Plymouth, to use those guns first. But whenever I have spares around, I just toss on the battleships for the extra 65 firepower, because that's what I care about it for. I use it for the firepower. I don't care about the other stuff that comes from secondary guns for battleships. So keep that in mind. It doesn't really matter too much about what you use for secondaries. It just, do I want to kill suicide bombers faster or whatever? I don't really care too much about that though. It's not that big of a deal. Other stuff here, we have Azuma plate, or the VH plating at +10. Very nice. White shell. Okay, so we have 3 white shells, 3 black shells at +10. That's the default. Stick to that. After that, do whatever you want with it. Convenience or whatever, go for it. Right, so I do not see a single parallel bomber at +10 here. Maybe I'm blind, maybe I missed something, but definitely work on getting, like, if you're using carriers, and carriers are pretty important because right now, if you're using like Perseus, right? Perseus or Chise or Unicorn, their loadout is one torpedo bomber and one fighter slot. So what are you using right now? You're using Blackburn. I forgot how good this gun is. I'm not a big fan of it. I would definitely make more torpedo bombers though, because especially for ships like Perseus and Unicorn, which you use all the time, I would definitely make more. And if you're a 1 year player you're this invested into, I would definitely start working on OS. OS, you can get wyverns every 3 months. Definitely highly worth investing into for ships like Perseus and Unicorn, because it's gonna help them out a lot in PVE sorties because of the extra damage increase. Not to mention, the wyverns can intercept planes well too, so they can act as like a pseudo fighter, which is really good. All right, so I'll work on that next. I'm gonna skip this gear for now. We'll talk more about it later if I need to. In terms of other gear, though, let's talk about the other stuff you have here. So in terms of gold gear, you don't have to make any of these. These are like whatever. You can skip all those for now. Purple gear, probably not gonna talk about purple gear unless you want to talk about UR prints, but we'll probably ignore that for now. PR1. Alright, PR1 is done, minus Izumo, but at this point it's an option if you want to work on her or not. I would definitely work on her because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she gets perma firepower. So there's like a future thing you work on when you get to the min-max stage of the game. She gives 2 perma firepower at 120. So if you really want to go for that extra damage increase for battleships, that's like really min-maxy. When you get to that stage of the game, definitely work on Izuma, because even if you don't like her or like she's not a great ship, that plus 2 perma firepower is really nice to have. So keep that in mind. PR2, we're basically done. Azuma, FDG, Georgia, the essentials are already developer 30 or higher, so that is very nice. Everyone else though you can ignore unless you really want to work on them. PR3, we're about a little under halfway. Champagne is 29, Drake is 21. I would definitely come back to this later on, but as a question you said earlier, if you need to work on like World 13 stuff, Cheshire is a really good option to have for World 13. So whenever you want to get back to it, go for it. But you can definitely do World 13 without Cheshire though, but she just makes things a lot easier for you. Now PR4. Again, PR4. Wow, that was fast. Okay. We'll go back here. PR4 is something you should definitely work on, especially when you're progressing into like World 14 and stuff. At World 14, it is when a player starts pushing World 14, this indicates that they're ready for endgame content, like meta fights, arbiter fights. At this stage of the game, the hardest content for you is not mobbing, because that's not really an issue when you have like Perseus and Unicorn running around. It's bossing. And I call PR4 the most important PR season because it is the quote-unquote bossing season. Because Anchorage, Hakuryu, E-Girl, August von Parzival, they are all bossing ships, and they're designed for bossing. This is the best season because they're the bossing season. So I would definitely work on this. I assume you're working on it as of right now, but I would definitely work on this season, prioritize this one, especially because you're a World 13, World 14 player coming up. So I would definitely work on this. And as for PR5, you can ignore this for now. There's a lot of quality of life features in here, like Harbin's for PvP, Plymouth's really good for battleships, Brest is really good for sustain. The Russian carrier is good for the opposite of August von Parcel, which is like medium and heavy armor, I think. And then Rapper is just there just to give firepower at plus at 120 for +1. You don't have to worry about it as much, but PR4 though is definitely a season you should work into. Now as for campaign, so you talked about earlier, I would definitely, if you really, okay, so pushing campaign is like a self I guess self achievement, self goal. You don't have to push World 13, but if you really want to, like this guy is, then go for it. Just keep in mind that when you push World 13, this is when like the game spikes a little bit, especially if you don't have 125 ships. If you have a lot of 125s, this map shouldn't be that big of a deal, but If you have 120s, it may be a little bit of a pain. Depends on what kind of team comps you're running. So OS stuff. All right, so OS. I should really put down that some people should show me your OS stuff, but I know a lot of people are new nowadays that which don't have a lot of OS stuff to begin with, which is fine. But I'll go ahead and talk about fleets though and stuff now. Let me look at the rest of the video. This might be OS stuff right here, but I'll talk about comps and stuff later on. But in terms of position, fleet composition, I'm assuming this is your mob setup. Now here's the thing about mob setup. If you're running Unicorn Perseus, you don't need Helena here. Helena is for bossing setup. So if you're running a mob set for clears or whatever, you don't need this. Second of all, you don't need 2 tanks. 2 tanks is overkill right here. You want more either buffers or front-loaded damage. Front-loaded damage is like KimoCheese. Now, I know you don't have KimoCheese, but like anything with a front-loaded damage is really, really good. Otherwise, if you don't have front-loaded damage, just run a lot of damage. Like, you have St. Louis somewhere. Yeah, St. Louis. Toss her in the mob fleet. Keep the tanks split up evenly. Have at least 1 large cruiser in each fleet. You know, that make your life much easier if you can't do things in like one or two fleets for the OS. So having a split up is a really good option. In terms of that though, the first fleet is okay. Just swap Helena out. Swap the second fleet out. I'll talk more about this later because you have it as a question, but I'll come back to this later. We'll talk about the other stuff later on. I would definitely start using your cores or whatever, your PR1s for these guys right here, especially the 457. Get that done ASAP because you can slap that onto your Monarch or whatever for your OS mob, and everything will just be easy peasy, as if it isn't already easy peasy. So get that. The Drake gun is important, but it depends on where you are you at the game. If you have Anchorage or Drake ready, definitely this gun is a really, really good option on them. Otherwise, just ignore it. Wait for Tenrai or something. Much better options there. Alright, so we have the gear stuff. I'm going to assume you're lacking on plates. You have a pretty decent amount of plates. Alright, dude. You definitely got to make more +10 torpedo bombers. Get some Wyverns. Get some of that stuff. And you should be good to go, right? As for gear, we'll talk about this later, but all right. First of all, get a better gun for St. Louis. Okay, please. All right. I'm talking about gear, just main gun and gear alone. All right. Fast review. Gun is okay. I would get a better I would get a better sub gun though because this one's 30 firepower. Get a 45 firepower one. Hazers are fine, but get the 135 Dido AAs from Gear Lab. That gives +15 firepower, much better. SG radar is fine. We have nothing else. This shell's a meme, but if you have nothing else, use it. White shells are much better though. Ulrich, alright. I used to like this gun, but they're a way better option nowadays. Odin's gun works fine here. Otherwise, use she has fast reload already for off fleet. Just use an MK6 or something from purple HEs. Definitely use a better secondary gun. Get one that's like 30 firepower minimum, not one that's 20 firepower. You want for secondaries you want firepower mainly when it comes to battleships. So get a 31 minimum. There are 35s out there, so get 30. Get it from Gear Labs. Hazers, okay, but once again, Stag Bofers or Dido AAs are much better options. You don't need the fire control radar for Ulrich. She's already fast for off fleet. Just toss in a black shell in, you're good to go. FDG here, we have the 457, very good. Again, get a better secondary auxiliary. Anti-air, get either Dido AAs or the Stag Bofers. The shells can stay though. Unicorn, once again, fighter. There's better fighters out there. Corsairs, AP rockets, Sea Hornets, much better options. Torpedo bombers. I think these are okay. I think they're as good as Barracudas, but they're not +10. Get them a +10, especially if you're going to use if you're using ships often, guys, like Unicorn and Perseus. Get them +10 gear, please. Like this has to be +10, +10, +10, +10, +10s. All right. All right, St. Louis. This gun has to go. Get a better gun. Get the if you have the last anniversary event gun, the Brunhild gun or whatever. The I forgot what her name is, but Blucher, something like that. Bluher. Get that gun. Torpedoes, those are manual ones. I mean, they can slot in as fillers. I personally don't care too much about torpedoes nowadays unless I'm playing like manual, which I really rarely do. Anti-air is fine, but I would definitely get firepower. Auxiliaries, these are fine. Assuming she can survive just fine, then this is okay. You should have purple augments though. I feel like everyone should have purple augments nowadays. It's so easy to get. You get way more stats compared to this. Shinano. Wait, hold up. All right, let me skip this real quick. Okay, Rika. That's fine. Shinano. Now this build does like no damage because dive bombers are here. Unless you're doing something really specific, you don't have to use comets. The only time I ever used comet was for the last repulse meta fight because I had to get out 4 airstrikes really fast. Otherwise, use like hell divers. Hell divers. And that'll make your damage significantly better. So do that. And if you do that though, I would definitely like either if you don't have perma reload for carriers, drop out one of these for homing beacons. It is definitely worth it. Azuma, whoa, I didn't see that. Okay, Azuma, fine. Kronstadt, fine. Ayanami, you can definitely get a better gun than that. Well, actually, no. Well, maybe. This is okay, but there's better options out there. Alright, this makes no sense. Why would you run 2 rainbows with the auto quint or auto quins? Get like if you're playing double pure oxys, you run manual. Because otherwise you just run sustain on these ships. If you're playing on auto. Manual, just skip that though. Alright, I'm not talking about any other ones, they're fine. Well, okay, Arc Royal stuff. We'll worry about that later. Anyways, you have questions. Alright, questions. OS fleet, how to build them. Alright. Going back to the OS question here. So OS fleet, again. Helna boss, drop out either E-Girl or Azuma, keep one of them in, add more DPS in there like St. Louis, or a front-loaded damage dealer like Shimakaze, you're good to go. Second fleet, I don't know what the purpose of this fleet is. I assume it's carrier's fleet or like a secondary mob fleet. You don't need a secondary mob fleet nowadays. If you have Perseus and Unicorn, you're more than sustained enough for the whole OS content. So make another carrier setup or make another BB setup for bossing. Change this up entirely. The fourth fleet here doesn't really make sense. You have Shinano and 2 battleships here. I would definitely get another battleship here and drop out Shinano because Shinano, not only does she not fit with this team composition, you're wasting her potential. And her potential is if she's running 3 if you're running 3 IJN ships, she gets 15% more carrier bonus for all I think it's like IJN carrier or something. So Shokaku, Akagi, Kaga, Zuikaku works way better with Shinano than Vanguard and Ulrich. Just toss another battleship in here. 4 fleet here. Battleship. See, like here's what I would do, right? Shinano, Arc Royal, Shokaku, or Centaur, whatever you want to do. Put FDG in the another fleet right here, and then just run. Then the second fleet here, just make another battleship or carrier setup. Specifically, probably carrier. Carrier is much easier to invest into, so do that. You have more than enough place to get to plus 10s on another carrier setup, so do that. Don't cheap out. And as for Vanguards, one large cruiser. Try to get 1 buff for each. And then a secondary damage dealer or like some kind of like juicer, beefy DPS. Don't run all tanks, alright? You won't have any damage. Like right here, Phoenix does no damage, Portland does no damage, Laffy has minor damage. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So do that. Which gear should I invest more into? Carriers. I said that earlier. You're missing so much carrier stuff. Wyverns for PvE. Converging bombers, junkers from Gear Labs. You should definitely do more gear OS because you're lacking a lot of good Gear Lab gear. Junkers, Wyverns, plus 10 Corsairs, plus 10 AP rockets, which I don't think you have PR4 as of right now. Another reason why PR4 is really good, AP rockets. Hell divers. You gotta work on carrier stuff, my man. It just can't be off Vanguard or BB stuff. You have to work on carrier stuff. Variety is always good. So carrier stuff, wyverns, all that stuff. Plus 10 them all. Get those things juiced out. Slapped onto your carriers and you'll get much better results. How to build my main fleet for OS 13. So 13 is primarily anti-air. Again, there are many anti-air ships nowadays that you can use because it has been really power creeped. So whatever you have, options are really good. Like for example, running what you have already at 120 options, while you have like Swiftsure is a good option. Going down the list, I think Rico is a pretty solid option as well too. Cheshire, if you want to work on Cheshire, I think Juno's decent, but better options. San Diego will make your life much easier in World 13. Definitely bring her. Just a lot of vanguards with anti-air, and then your backline run like a Perseus. If you want to do a Perseus and Unicorn, go for it, and run like a battleship or something. Doesn't make it so you're very sustained on a Vanguard, as your Vanguard just deletes every plane in existence in the air. And for the bossing setup, just run a burst setup. Anti-air is fine if you're not comfortable, but if you're at 125, you should be more than okay for World 13. World 14 though comes from anti-sub stuff. You're gonna need a lot of DDs. Work on DDs next. Laffy is fine, but you should definitely work on at least 4 DDs. It'll make your life much easier. Like Suzuki, if you have a sister from a current event, Wakasuki, good option. Tashkent is okay, but just any DD that has good wave clear or some kind of utility for like World 13, like sonar scans or something, it'll make your life much easier. And then backline, just run durable Perseus, Unicorn, beefy tank like a Musashi, FDG. Boss setup, just go for all bursts. You can do 2 carriers, 1 battleship. Just make sure you have a lot of damage on your boss setup, because you don't want to stick around in those boss fights for a very long time because it hurts. Alright. So I believe that's all the questions I answered for this guy. Anything else though, feel free to comment below. Thank y'all for watching, and as always, see you guys in the next video.